Now let us talk about terrain modeling, and in this we will see some basics, and specifically we'll talk about DEM more. So how about adding the third dimension? So in high relief areas, variables such as altitude, aspect, slope, they strongly influence both human and physical environments. So a 3D data model is essential in these cases. We use a digital terrain model, DTM, and these are the information we derive information on height, aspect, slope, watershed, solar radiation, hill shading, cut and fill calculations. So all these things can be done using these DEMs and DTMs. So what exactly DEMs are? DEMs are data files that contain the elevation of terrain over a specific area, usually at a fixed grid interval. So these interval between each of the grid points will always be a reference to some graphical coordinate system like latitude, longitude, UTM, etc. So the closer together the grid points are, the more detailed the information will be, and vice versa. And the details of the peaks and the valleys in the terrain will be better modeled with a small grid spacing than when the grid intervals are very large. Now elevation other than at specific grid points location are not there in the file. As a result, peak points and valley points, they are not coincident with the grid, will not be recorded at all. So the file also does not contain any civil information such as roads or building. It will just contain values of the elevation. It is not a scanned image of the paper map. It is not a bitmap. It does not contain elevation contours. Only there are specific elevation values at specific grid points location. So DEMs and DTMs, let us see some definitions. DEM, as I just told you, these are digital elevation model, and this has set of regularly or irregularly spaced height values, and there is no other information. And DTM, digital terrain model, often confused with this DEM, they has a set of regularly or irregularly spaced height value, regularly or irregularly spaced height value, but with other information about the terrain surface also. So you have ridge lines, spot heights, troughs, coast, shorelines, drainage lines, fault, peak, pits, passes, all you will find in this digital terrain model. This is how your DEM will look like. These are the values in a grid structure. So lay a grid over some part of the world and find the elevation in each cell. This is the cell definition. I just showed you this. This is the cell size. This is the cell value, particular value, and the size of the cell is in either say meter, feet, degree, or arc seconds. So there are various data sources for these digital elevation model. The primary data sources may be, say, from SRTM, from ASTER, and other airborne sensors. The secondary may be from made from maps and from national elevation data set, or 1:2 50,000 scale maps. You can make it. Gotopo 30 is also elevation for complete Earth they have made. And as far as the space shuttle is concerned, SRTM's shuttle radar topography mission, 1 arc second elevation data for the United States, 3 arc second data for other parts. So it is produced by radar measurement from a shuttle mission which was sent along with this SRTM, and you can find more information here. This is the shuttle radar topography mission. This is the main antenna, and this is the outboard antenna, and this is the reflected radar signals which is collected at two antennas which provide 2 sets of radar signals separated by a distance, and this is how you can find the elevation of that particular part. This is a SRTM elevation, and the imagery draped over it. This is Santa Barbara, California. So interferometry is used by SRTM. Basically, for in radar imaging, the height is computed by this interferometry also. In interferometry, two images are taken from different vantage points of the same area, and the slight difference in the two image allows scientists to determine the height of the surface. Actually, the phase difference, which can give you the estimate of the height. Then there are various secondary sources also. This is 200-meter mesh, UTM coordinates is there, and what you can do, you can also have 100-meter. These are the 100-meter mesh, and for every point you can have some digital elevation or point value. And this is 30 meters. See, this is the blocks have reduced in the size. So 30-meter mesh. This is standard for 1:24,000 scale maps. You have lattice points. These are the points which are generated by these blocks, a center point, and this cell stores elevation at this lattice point. These are the elevation values, and these elevation values can be, these are, see, this value, this is called a contour. Everywhere you will find the height as 700 only. So this is the comparison. You have 30-meter cell size, you have 100-meter cell size, and this is how it is seen. It is somewhat enlarged, this is somewhat compact. And in UK you have Ordnance Survey. You can get the data of landform panorama. The source scale is 1:50,000. The resolution is around 50 meter. Vertical accuracy is 3 meter. So always in DEM you talk about resolution and vertical accuracy, and this is the landform profile. You can take landform panorama, landform profile. The source scale is 1:10,000. The resolution is 10 meter, and the vertical accuracy is quite good, 0.3 meter. These are the two comparisons, landform panorama and landform profile. From this data you can very well perceive that this data is very good. This is the LIDAR data, light detecting and detection and ranging can also be used for estimating the height. The horizontal resolution is 2 meter and the vertical accuracy is plus minus 2 centimeters. So this is very good, very good data. And modeling, building and topological structure, there are two main approaches. You can have a digital model based on data sampled on a regular grid lattice, and you can have a TIN, triangular irregulated network, which is based on irregular sample data and Delaunay triangulation. These are with sample points. These are TIN based on some sample points. So there are certain advantages and disadvantages also. DEM, if we talk about DEM, it accepts data direct from digital altitude matrices. Must be resampled if a irregular data is used. So this may miss complex topographic features, and this may include redundant data in low relief areas also. This is less complex and CPU intensive. Then coming to TINs, this accepts randomly sampled data without resampling, and it accepts linear features such as contours and break lines, ridges and troughs we call it, and it accepts point features like spot heights and peaks, and the density vary of sample points according to the terrain complexity. Then we have various derived variables also from DEMs and DTMs. We primarily use DTMs in the calculation of height, aspect and slope. So what is the height? This is the altitude above datum. This is the datum, the altitude above our datum. Then aspect is the direction area of terrain is facing. Aspect is direction area of terrain which is facing, and slope is the gradient or angle of that terrain. Then calculating this slope, how to calculate those slope, as I just mentioned, the slope is the gradient or angle of terrain. So we can find through inclination of land surface measured in degrees or percent. So we can have this 3x3 cell filter. We find best fit tilted plane that minimize square difference in height for each cell. We take z is equal to a plus bx plus cy, say a linear equation in x and y, and we determine slope of center, that is targets. The slope can be found out by under root, that is b square plus c square, not under root. And if we want to calculate the aspect, the direction of land surface which is facing, measured in degrees or nominal classes like n, s, north, south, east and other directions. So we again use 3x3 filter, and we best fit tilted plane. This direction aspect of our target cell, this is computed by tan inverse c by b. If we use something like this, the aspect can be the tan inverse of two values. Now, other derived variables, many other variables describing terrain features and characteristics can be used: hill shading, profile and plane curvature, feature extraction, etc. So these are the examples. We have computed height, aspect, slope, hill shading, plan curvature, and feature extraction. Now, there are certain problems with DVMs also. The issues with DMs and DTMs are the quality of data which is used to generate, the interpolation technique. This gives rise to errors in the surface such as sloping lakes and rivers flowing uphill, local maxima or minima, stepped appearance. This can be there in DMs, and you can use these DMs and DTMs in visualization, that is terrain and other 3D surfaces, for visibility analysis, that is intervisibility matrices and view sheds, hydrological model. This is very important for catchment modeling and flow modeling, and then engineering, cut and fill and profiles, etc. Then terrain visualization, analytical hill shading can be done. Various views like azimuth, altitude, view, distance, point. Surface draping can be done like point, line and area data, and animated fly through can be achieved. So this was the basic idea about DEM and terrain modeling. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.